The latest evacuation order stands at 188,000 people evacuated. This is in conjunction with the dam spilling over. Let's listen to this. The latest on problems with an emergency spillway at the nation's tallest dam. A Northern California sheriff says evacuation orders affecting 188,000 people will stand until there is no more information on the condition of the nation's tallest dam emergency spillway. Butte County Sheriff Tony Hanya says there are a lot of unknowns about the situation at Oroville Dam, which located about 150 miles northeast of San Francisco. He spoke at a news conference late Sunday and said a lot of people had to be displaced to ensure public safety and that everyone continues to be his focus. State and Fire Rescue Chief Kim Zagarias says at least 250 law enforcement officers from throughout the state are in the area en route to help keep things safe for the people who are evacuated. This is the timeline. 11 p.m. A California water official says no repair work was done Sunday on the eroded emergency spillway at the nation's tallest dam. Lake Oroville is about 150 miles northeast of San Francisco, and the 770-foot tall Oroville Dam is the nation's tallest. Earlier Sunday, authorities mentioned a plan to plug the hole by using helicopters to drop rocks into the crevasse. Acting Director, Department of Water Resources Bill Croyle said at a news conference late Sunday that no corrective measures were taken after looking at the flow and available resources. He said officials will be able to access the damage to the emergency spillway now that the water is no longer spilling over the top. He added that the integrity of the dam has not been impacted. 10:30 p.m. A California water official says 100,000 cubic feet per second continue to flow down the Oroville Dam's main spillway. Department of Water Resources Acting Director Bill Croyle said at a news conference late Sunday that the plan is to continue withdrawing that amount of water for as long as possible. Croyle says a key goal is to reduce the dam's level ahead of upcoming storms forecast to reach the area Wednesday. Water levels at Lake Oroville rose so high that an emergency spillway was used Saturday for the first time in almost 50 years. Officials noticed erosion on the emergency spillway on Sunday. Croyle said officials have been unable to access the erosion scar, but will be able to analyze the damage better now that the water is below its level. 10:15 p.m. Authorities say there is no more water going over the emergency spillway at Northern California Dam, Oroville. Officials put out an evacuation order Sunday afternoon saying the spillway at Oroville Dam could fail within an hour. At least 130,000 people in downstream areas have been asked to evacuate. Butte County Sheriff Corey Hanna said at a news conference late Sunday that the evacuation orders will stand until more information is analyzed. 8:30, traffic is gridlocked for miles around Lake Oroville as panicked and angry residents try to evacuate over concerns that Northern California's dam's emergency spillway could fail. Caius Levius and her husband Greg stopped at a gas station as they attempted to flee. Greg Levis says he's shocked and pretty mad they didn't get more of a warning. Officials put out an evacuation order Sunday afternoon, telling around 100,000 people the emergency spillway at Oroville Dam could fail within an hour. Raj Grill is managing a Shell station where panicky motorists got gas and snacks while they wait for gridlocked traffic to clear. He says his boss told him to close the station and flee himself, but he stayed open to feed a steady line of customers. 8 p.m. At least 130,000 people have been asked to evacuate over concerns California Oroville Dam's emergency spillway could fail. Officials say Oroville Lake levels are decreasing as they let water flow from its heavy damage main spillway, but point out water is still spilling over the dam. California officials say the cities of Oroville, Gridley, Live Oak, Marysville, Wheatland, Yuba City, Plumas Lake, and Olivehurst are all under evacuation orders. and it's up to 180,000 evacuated. Okay. But County Sheriff Connie Honia says engineers with the California Department of Water Resources informed him shortly after 6 p.m. that the erosion on the emergency spillway at the Oroville Dam is not advancing as fast as they thought, but the evacuation order still stands. Hanna says 2 inches of water is still coming over the dam, but that is significantly down from earlier flows. Hanna says there is a plan to plug the hole by using helicopters to drop rocks into the crevasse. He says the evacuation order went out after engineers spotted a hole that was eroding back towards the top of the spillway. Honia adds authorities wanted to get people moving quickly to save lives in case the worst-case scenario came to fruition. California officials say the cities of Gridley, Live Oak, Nicholas, Yuba City, and communities near Feathers River have been added to the evacuation order. Hundreds of cars and wall-to-wall traffic can be seen on Highway 99 as people stream out of Oroville away from the dam. 5:45 p.m., authorities in Yuba County are asking people living in the valley floor to evacuate. Yuba County Office of Emergency Services says people should take routes to the east, south, or west to avoid traveling north towards Oroville. The California Department of Water Resources says it is releasing as much as 100,000 cubic feet per second from the main heavily damaged spillway to try to drain the lake. Department of Water Resources spokesman Kevin Dossi tells the Sacramento Bee the emergency spillway was rated to handle 250,000 cubic feet per second, but it began to show weakness Sunday at a small fraction of that. Flows through the spillway peaked at 12,600 cubic feet per second at 1 a.m. Sunday and were down to 8,000 cubic feet per second by midday. About 5 o'clock p.m. on Sunday, officials have ordered residents near the Oroville Dam in Northern California to evacuate the area, saying a hazardous situation is developing after an emergency spillway severely eroded. But County Sheriff's Office says the emergency spillway could fail within an hour, unleashing uncontrolled floodwaters from Lake Oroville. The department says people in downstream areas need to leave the area immediately. It says residents of Oroville, a town of 16,000 people, should head north. They just said not north. Should head north towards Chico, and that other cities should follow orders from their local law enforcement agencies. But it says head north, but it said go everywhere but north. Water began flowing over the emergency spillway at the dam on Saturday, after, for the first time in nearly 50-year history, after a rainfall. About noon, officials say water will continue to flow over the emergency spillway at nation's tallest dam for another day or so. Water began flowing over the emergency spillway at the Oroville Dam in Northern California on Saturday for the first time in nearly 50 years after the rainfall. California Department of Water Resources spokesman Eric C. said at a Sunday press conference that skies are clear and the overflow is steadily slowing. It's expected to stop by midday Monday. In addition to the emergency spillway, water also flowed through the main spillway that was significantly damaged from erosion. Officials said they'll assess the damage starting Monday. That's tomorrow. C stressed the dam is structurally sound and there was no threat to the public. About 150 miles northeast of San Francisco, Lake Oroville is one of California's largest man-made lakes. So that's a man-made lake. I didn't know that. All right. They're not going to let me do that. So, once again, evacuation order stands for 188,000 people. There is pretty much a real emergency going down. I mean, if this thing could flood and this thing could kill thousands of people. I mean, drown thousands of people. So that's why the evacuation order was sudden, because it was crazy. They said if this thing gives, That's it. A Northern California sheriff says evacuation orders affecting 180,000 people will stand until there is no more information on the condition of the nation's tallest dam emergency spillway. So, if you're anywhere near this, evacuate. This is pretty gnarly. This has been James from the Research Revolution. I'm out of here.